I'm definitely digging the Black Panther. I love it. I've heard some reaching taking place with people pissed off about the movie, and I'm like, man, they mad that they're dressed in African garb. They mad that some of the culture has been expressed. They're mad that there's been wars amongst black people being expressed in the movie or demonstrated in the movie. But let's be for real. We did have tribal wars. Okay? This is also entertainment. You need a plot twist, conflict, adversity. They didn't graft that adversity out of nowhere. They didn't create a myth about tribal wars. Our people were caught up in their tribes to the point of freaking gangs, where some tribes don't deal with other tribes. I think that they didn't home on it enough, and I'm glad they didn't. I think they did a good job appropriating that information, but not making it circumvent all the other beautiful aspects of culture. One of my favorite aspects is that their greatest warrior in the community was a black woman. I love that. That might have went over a lot of people's heads. But their greatest warrior in their African culture was a black woman. It was said so. This ain't speculation. It was said, you're our greatest warrior. And even when you look at the end of the movie, towards the ending credits, on the first one, because they got two different screens that come amidst of the credits. When you go to the first synopsis or the first little snippet they give you after the credits, you see the Black Panther going there speaking at the United Nations, and his security is a black woman on the left and a black woman on the right. When you look at it, his security was women. I think that was empowering. Now, some people may say, man, and I don't think no one's really discussing that part, that the black women were security. And in fact, the greatest of warriors, the greatest warrior was the black woman. And the scientist was the black woman. And his strength and his power came from, and his being saved came from the black woman that loved him. I think that was thoroughly represented, and it wasn't talked about enough. As I see reviews and I hear people reviews and they talking about the Panthers using drugs and he's getting high, he damn near on lean in order to have his superpowers. I heard a lot. But you know, I maybe I'm watching with too much of a positive eye. I understand that this is Hollywood, as we say. I understand the realm of entertainment. So let's just accept that for what it is and see what we get out of it. Like some say, get the fish, leave the bones. But I deal with fillet knowledge. Those of you that read the prolegomena or the introductions of my books, you know I deal with fillet knowledge. We don't deal with bones at all. We just get to the truth and we call it a day. That's what we on. You feel me? So I believe the greatest thing that took place in that movie was the upliftment of the black woman and how significant she was to society as far as technology was concerned, as far as defense was concerned, and as far as the strength of the black man was concerned. Because at the end of the day, it wasn't a group of men that were set to take down the enemy. It was a group of women, and they damn near took them down without the aid of their technological advancement in the form of the Panther suit. They did it just without the suit. You feel me? And the Panther was kind of in the state of mind, like, let me put the suit on to combat this dude with the suit. The sisters was like, yo, we got it. Y'all handle that. You go and handle everything going on over there. We gonna deal with them. And that respect was given because, again, they were known as the warrior class. So when you say, man, what's up with these black women with their attitude and everything like that? Maybe we're not embracing the element that they are strong for genetic reasons and for historical reasons and by genetic circumstance because of their disposition in history previous to contemporary times. Maybe there's still a sentiment that exists within them that they're not being accepted enough to play more integral roles in culture where defense is discussed. Okay? Where defense is discussed. There's parts of their DNA where they know they should play a more prominent role in society, if not be taken more serious, if not being taken more serious when it comes to discussions of defense and protecting the family and defending the family. So I really, really love that part. I love that part. And I think that's one of the greatest parts of the Black Panther movie, is that they put light on the strength of the black woman, who's the true protector and the backbone of the black nation. And with women in that state of mind, it's very hard to bring down a society. In fact, they had the greatest of societies, and the women were well respected. Another thing I like about the movie was that they allowed the people to shoot a fair one. They allowed the brothers to shoot the 5, meaning when the brother was like, yo, the Black Panther died, he said, was it done in ritual? You know, were the rules broken? So he was like, so it was more a death than it's a murder. Y'all coming at me? What's good? Okay. I think that was dope. I think that was real dope. I think the fact that they allowed those brothers to throw their hands and accept the winner or the loser for what it was, so long as it was fair game, so long as nobody cheated. They decided what the rules of engagement were. If y'all guys are going to have the right to use weapons or not, it's at your discretion. But my man said, yo, was it culture? Was it done in ritual? So then, you know, don't come to me talking to me like someone just went out and killed this guy. No, he accepted the fight as a warrior, and he lost. We got to live with that. Now, what do we do here, knowing that this guy is not suited to be the king, and he's going to bring out disharmony and discord throughout our nation? Now, that has to be addressed. That shows to me that they wasn't operating on a primitive level. And yes, there will be fights. What you going to tell people to do? Not fight? There will be arguments. You're going to tell people not to argue? Set the rules of engagement. Let everyone bear witness. And whether it works the way you want it to work or not, accept the end results, because this is the society we set up. I like that. And you saw the dishonorable aspect, in a sense, you know, when Michael B. Jordan, at the end, when he saw the Black Panther was still alive, and the Black Panther was like, yo, it's not done because I'm not dead. He's like, man, the hell with all of that. I got my kingship. I ain't fighting no more. See, that was the coward shit that he did. That was cowardly. He was also like, I'm not throwing their hands no more. I want my fight ready. Freak that. I'm not even looking to lose my kingship. You see, now that was cowardly. So he represents that person in society. And I love his role. I actually loved his role more than the Black Panther. You know, I love the bad guy more than I love the good guy, because I love where his anger was coming from. But it was misappropriated, and he started translating that same animosity towards his people. And that's what the Black Panther was telling him. Like, yo, you're becoming your enemy. And this was my doctrine. This was the debate I had with the brother in the community. Have we become our own worst enemy? You hate the white man so much that you hate each other. You blame each other for everything that goes wrong. You hate him so much you wind up translating that hatred into each other. That's my conversation. And in that, the Black Panther was right. But at the end, where my man was like, the Black Panther was like, yo, we can save you. And he was like, nah, throw me in the water where my ancestors jumped ship. Throw me in the water where my ancestors jumped ship. Because they knew that death was better than bondage. I'm like, man, who wrote that line? That was fire. You know what I'm saying? And from there, I ain't gonna front. I had to tear in my eye. Because too many of us died like that, because he was a young brother who only heard stories about how great Africa was. And he couldn't connect the two dots. If Africa was so great, and that's who he is, and that's where he's from, why should he have to struggle in the hood? And why should the oppressor be so prevalent? That's the question for the conscious community. That has been my conversation forever. That's what I'm more interested in as far as the Black Panther is concerned. Okay, so it's the role of woman, and then I gotta talk about that aspect. As he was a brother that came out of Oakland, and he seen the hood for what it was, and he seen the oppressor for who he was, and he seen the tricks and how they was able to abuse and manipulate us. And then here it was, you had black people that had resources and the ability to change our paradigm, but they refused to for whatever reason. That's what he was mad about. He said, where was all this technology? Where was Wakanda while we was under suffrage? That is a question that's relevant to today. with our brothers and sisters that have resources, we have to ask, why should many of us have to suffer if such resources are accessible to some of us? So I think in that was a hidden message. Oh no, so I don't blame him, Quentin Hayward, I don't blame him at all. I don't blame him at all. And as the Black Panther rightfully said, he said, we failed them. This is the monster we created. You know, we create the monsters in the hood. Let's not mistake it. There's monsters in the hood behaving like animals, like it or not. But the people that created it are the righteous people, the so-called righteous people. We create that from all this talks of prestige and greatness, and then we are not able to connect the dots, and that's what makes me think about the conscious community. So let's talk. Because if you don't see yourself somewhere in the movie isn't entertaining. You got to find that character where you connect with them to the point you're like, oh, man, good. They missed it. You got to connect with the characters. That's when the movie's good. I connected with a lot of characters. I connected with a lot of the narrative. I embrace that movie in its entirety. I love it all. But dang, that was a great question. That was a great question. How can we have so much access to so much technology, so much privilege, so much resources, and so much knowledge? Why should the fate of the race be that of a suffrage? Okay, so that's what I'm on. And I think that's a question that's true and speaks to the narrative of today's conscious community. I think that speaks to the conscious community, man. You say we come from all this greatness, and some of you will even contend that you are speaking to these higher beings, but none of you come back with the technology or the resources to take us out of this negativity. And when asked about it, you get on the defensive and you start looking for all sorts of straw man arguments and red herring to take us away from the fact you didn't answer the damn question. It's a fact. So that's why I like the Black Panther. I see the conversation of the conscious community there. I see both sides. I see one side so overwhelmed by the so-called oppressor that they start even oppressing their people who have a different viewpoint. Because he said he wanted to take down anybody that agreed with the Black Panther. The Black Panther wasn't his enemy. He said, I'm gonna kill anybody. I'm gonna shed the blood of anybody who down with you. He was banging on more black people than he banged on the oppressor. When you look at it, he was so infatuated and consumed with rage for his oppressor that he wanted to kill his own people. And that's our people. That's our people in the conscious community. They hate white people so much. All their videos is about black people they don't like. Look at all their videos. Look at all the posts. Every time they talk about somebody, they talking about another black person. And they get money for it through YouTube. White people. White people are paying them when they do videos to degrade members of their own race. And then members of their race watch these videos and they feel less proud as a race watching us do that to each other. They get paid for that in the process. These are the Wakanda diaries, man. It's the conscious community all over again. These are facts. These are facts. All that man was mad about was being impoverished at the end of the day. He was lacking in resources. Sure, the technology and all that been cool, but he wasn't necessarily talking about all the technology per se. Just living hard. And when you living hard, it's easier to be manipulated and abused. It's easier to be compromised. Facts. There's a lot we could take from that movie. You know, I'm not, like I said, I'm not one to really be going into movies and this was that, because, you know, people be reaching. I'm not into all of that. But I definitely seen the plight of Black America and abroad in that movie. I definitely seen it. I definitely seen it. I seen the argument. I seen the conversation. Okay? Those brothers, Chadwick and Michael B. Jordan, their diatribe in that movie is reflective of your Malcolm and your Martin. We see it all the time. We see it all the time. It's translated a little differently, granted the cultural dynamic, but it's the same conversation. But where we go with it at the end, we wind up banging on each other at the end. More black people get hurt in the interim than the so-called people who's oppressing us as non-black. Because that's the cowardly role that we take, and that's the part that made him a coward. I love this role. I love everything about him, but it still was cowardly because he had more intention to that was funny. He had more intention to bang on his own people than the so-called oppressor. At the end of the day. At the end of the day. At the end of the day. Word, you know, Reggie, my man. You know, Reggie's my man. But this is my perspective, man. You know, this is my perspective. But this is the constant struggle in the community. This is the constant thing that we got to deal with all the time. We hate the oppressor so much. I'm going to kill the black people who agree with the oppressor. I'm going to kill the black people who I see. Yeah, but you never get to the white folks, do you? You never get to them. You never get to them. And you know why you never get to them? Because you Negroes know the second you start really directing your tongue towards non-blacks, they're going to shut down your YouTube channel. So you safe talking about other black people. You know that. And you get paid to do it. That's selling out. People always talk about what's selling out. Selling out is doing YouTube videos degrading other black people, making other black people less confident about black people, and getting paid to do so in the process. That's selling out. That's literally selling out. They know that the more sensational they are, the more monies they get from their AdSense accounts. Okay? It's a fact. It's a fact. That's what we do. In this era of social media, it could work to our greatest advantage, but when it comes to conscious people, man, all you gotta do is disagree with them, and they ready to send you to hell, tell you the Most High gonna eat your babies, everything. That's what we do. That's what we do. That's the disappointing part about our community, and that's what's been going on of late. Okay? That's what we do. Yes, you go to brotherpolight45@gmail.com. Yeah, so I'm chilling, man. I'm about to travel again, hit the plane, you know, but I just wanted to build. I got so much messages. What you think about Black Panther? What you think about Black Panther? So I'm like, you know what? I don't like doing movie reviews, but you know what? It did speak to a greater narrative that is taking place or presently transpiring in our society today in the form of the conscious community. Teachers be BSing. They tell you how they're the only one, they're the greatest, most unique. These beings are talking to me. But then when it comes to results, it's like, what happened to all the specialties? What happened to all the concessions that were made to you through divinity that put you far above the rest of us, where you could deliver us? Then the practical message about economics and politics gets overridden because it'd be a lot easier if we invested our reality into your dream about yourself. See, if someone comes to you practically and says, yo, here's the system and this is how it has to be done. You know, someone tells me, yo, the Bible's going to get us out of this situation. Then you got a man skilled in economics. When he presents his way out, he has an executive summary. He has the fiscal projection. He's quantified the data. He has a mission statement. He lets you know in 6 months, this is what we look like. In 1 year, this is what we look like. In 2 years, this is what we look like. But the other homie is like, this Bible is basic information before leaving Earth. This is going to get us out of here. You can read any of these verses, the Most High going to speak to you, and we're going to be out of here. Who's the one that winds up more successful all the time? The guy with an actual plan that we can make applicable every day. This is not a shot at you people's gods out there. It's just being real. It's not a shot. It's just like, let's be for real, man. You want that other aspect because you don't want to read and you don't want to study. You don't want to carry the one. You just want someone to give you a book and tell you believe, because that's a lot easier because you don't challenge yourself to get great, to become great. Y'all don't want the challenge to become great. So you go with all these fairy tales and I'm writing in my sleep and I'm not saying these things can't happen, but I'm saying, okay, since you got the juice at this moment, give us more. The only thing that I ever understood, despite any experience I've ever had, was that I still had to work hard and study. I still had to commit the information to memory. I still had to work to make it applicable in my life. That's the only thing I've ever learned, whether it was a social experience or a so-called metaphysical experience, which is still a scientific experience or undertaking. I come out of it knowing I still gotta execute. And then if anybody wanna follow, they are gonna have to execute. Reminiscent to the way that I have. Or incorporate themselves into what it is that I'm facilitating. But it's just not gonna come overnight. It's not gonna come just by way of this spirit that endows me and suddenly I'm brilliant and I'm gonna lead the masses. This is the story book aspect of the black conscious community that we would like to believe. So we sit here waiting for some leader to give his 100%. So if something happens to him, we're done. Instead of saying everybody of each 100 give 1%. So if something happens to one of them, we still have 99% left. No matter how engaged I am in the herbs that I take and all of that, I still come back and tell y'all, well, you know what? You're going to have to take these herbs too. You're going to have to learn your body mass index, your BMI. We're going to have to factor in your age, your height, your weight, your ethnicity. Okay? We're going to have to take all those things into consideration, your blood type. So we know in what proportion or quantity to give you the herbs. Even if you want sea moss and bladderwracks, I told the sister today, yeah, I was giving myself mad bladderwracks. Hold on, sis, just be careful. Always give 1/3 at most bladderwracks. Pardon me. Yeah, 1/3 at most bladderwracks, 2/3 sea moss. Any more than that is going to be detrimental as far as bladderwracks is concerned. Facts. These are facts. Whole facts. These are facts, people. Cats don't be wanting to work. You want supernatural undertakings, man. I'm telling you, still got to work for it. You still got to study. You still got to hit the books. You still got to work out. You still got to use the right herbs. You got to use them in the right proportion. You still got to deal with math and science at the end of the day. And that's where they got us at a handicap, because the teachers is still slipping some of that tricky stuff in there. Like, hey, you know, I'm greater than all of you, just follow me. And okay, we follow you. Where we follow you, we should be saying, okay, impart wisdom on us and how you got to where you got so we can be just as good. I don't care if you got to charge. But come up with the formula, man. Whether it's free or it costs, come up with the formula. And share the formula to how you became who you became. That's what it is. That's what it is. Show us the formula. Come on, man. We got to stop being like that. We got to stop trying to spook our people out, man. Yo, if I wanted to spook people out, it'd be ridiculous. With my memory, I mean, there's things that I know that will blow your freaking mind that you would call metaphysical that I understand to just be science. Come on, man. Man, you know, you could get rid of dyslexia just walking around in eights. Walking around in eights. Doing an infinity walk. And that would be magic to you, but it's a science behind it. It's all about your motor skills. Enhancing your memory, committing new languages to memory. That's if you didn't take out your tonsils and your appendix. I can show you how to chant certain tones that's going to make it easier for you to commit languages to memory, because it'll stimulate your Broca's area and the fusiform of your brain. The part of your brain that comes up with light formations. Lights up every time you interact with someone of your own race. We're looking at the frontal lobe of the Broca's area. And what that has to do with the ASPM gene, because you got genes in your body that respond only to tones. That upon those tones being emitted from your body, there's a neurological response to make your brain grow. And that's why the London Missionary Society de-emphasized the English language. So you won't have to use the corrugated palate of your mouth, your appendix, and your tonsils for vibratory causes to stimulate the hormonal action and the neurotransmissions that suffice to grow your brain. But that's too deep for people. And the first thing they'll say that's pseudo. But I can reference every part of the body that I'm talking about and give you the domino effect of how it goes down. Facts. Come on, man. Like, yo, I could wild out and just say, look, this makes me special amongst all of you. But I don't want to be that, because when I'm seen like that, that's when the barrage of negativity comes. So I just do my best to be normal and let people sleep on me. But I realize I don't even know how to do normal right. Because every day I'm in a different stretch, or I'm in one of my special V's doing my thing. My family's like, look, that's not normal either. I'm just destined not to be normal. I don't know how to do normal per se. But what I do know is when you really demonstrate greatness, your own people want to kill you and set you up. That becomes their whole world. I got people on me every single day. Like they paid to do it, and they might be. But what's the reason though? Because I disagree with Scientology, or I disagree with Islam, or I disagree with the Israelite school, or I disagree with the Jews, or I disagree with the government, or, you know, it don't stop. I disagree with so many people because I'm a free thinker. Free thinkers, there's no love for a free thinker. Now, I don't mind people coming up with creative ideas, but I'm talking about free thinkers that encourage you to be practical in what you get from your studies, meaning only addressing issues and learning from them in applicable fashion. Taking knowledge and making sure that it's applicable. And if I can't make this knowledge applicable, sure, I may want to entertain it, but I gotta prioritize. So if this is my knowledge that it can't really change my situation, but for some reason I'm a little addicted to it, this is gonna be like your coffee information. You could do without coffee. Your little newspaper to start the day, you could do without that. So some of the knowledge that you into is kind of like that coffee and newspaper some of y'all are into. You know, take a little bit of it at a time, but stick with the stuff that's practical so you can build your family, or you can make yourself a better person. You gotta learn to prioritize information. You might like listening to someone talk about certain things. Do it. If that's your interest, do it. It could be a form of entertainment still for you, and maybe you do learn things in the interim of their deliberations. Do it, but just prioritize. You know what? Am I getting more stupid as I listen to this person? Nah, it's tough. But, you know, you gotta take the time out and say, yo, you know what? I'm gonna listen to Son for a little minute. I ain't really motivated to do much, but just be mad at other people that he mad at. Be mad at the government, mad at white people. Okay, we understood what that means to represent. Is there life after that? Because the fate of the black community is relying upon us applying knowledge. Eat the fruit and spit out the seeds. Man, I be eating seeds too. Word. So, you know, it's love. I'll be back on YouTube. I wanted to do it last week. But damn it, I got stuff going on, man. I told you, I'm in retirement mode right now. But I'll be back. I'm just in retirement mode. Let's take a break, man. Take a break. It's a lot. Dealing with our people, it's a lot. It's a lot. Thank y'all for the appreciation of the information. That means a lot to me. Just for you even saying that means a lot. There's a lot dealing with our people, man. We're not exactly... There's a lot of pathologies we have to address, and then mental health is big in the black community. It's a big situation. It's like the elephant in the room, because no one wants to say that there's something going wrong upstairs. Yeah, so we need a break. Thank you, Bhavani. I appreciate that. Yeah, and you know, people... I was just on the phone with a brother prior, and he was like, man, but, you know, a lot of people be saying bad things about you, though, brother. I said, brother, If you have videos that's doing 10 million, 5 million, 3 million, 6 million, 10 million, and other videos in the 100,000s, and your role isn't exactly save the children exclusively. Your role is, I'm addressing politics. Sometimes I'm going against government policies. Sometimes I'm going against religious doctrines. These people, they are more loyal to their religious doctrine than they are their own race. So I'm seen as attacking their religious doctrine. And what that means is, if I have a voice that sounds like I can deter people from joining certain organizations, then I am now a problem with that organization. That means that organization has to do something about me or to me, because so long as I'm speaking and I'm growing, there's going to be a large amount of people that will not listen to them no more. So like I say, if I got 30 people walking with me, maybe 1 out of 30 may have an issue. If I have 300 people walking with me, maybe 30 people have an issue out of 300. If I have 3,000 people walking with me, maybe 300 people got a problem with me. If I have 30,000 people having a problem, walking with me, then I'll probably have 3,000 people walking with me. But what if I have 300,000 people that actually follow me? And I do. Then I'm gonna have 30,000 people that may have a problem with me. Okay? And what if I got 3 million people that have listened to me at one point or the other? On several occasions, I wind up with a video that may have 3 million views. And it's on record and it's documented. And that's just a video. There's several videos in the millions. Some videos is in 5 million. Some videos is in 10 million. But what if I got a video that's 3 million views up? 3 million. Then I might have 300,000 people that don't like me. Think about that. And many of you are not in a position to have such a ratio where that can actually make sense. Many of you don't have a video that has done 3 million and consistently have videos that go into millions for you to even consider having thousands of people not like you at a time. These are facts. These are facts. So think about that. Think about 3 million people listening to you, and it happens several times with 3 million people listen to you. And then you think all 3 million people support you? I gave you the 30-to-1 ratio. You feel me? I gave you the 30,000 to 3,000 ratio. I gave you the 300,000 to 30,000 ratio. So why not the 3 million to 300,000 ratio? Think about it. Think about it. So you're like, yo, Polite. Based on the math, you technically can have 300,000 people zealous to tear you down, because also my profession, I'm not just an NBA player. So you have some people that just hate LeBron James or whatever. And how far is that going to go? I'm talking about politics. I'm talking about economics. I'm talking about religion. I got zealous people from all backgrounds, people who into health, religiously against me. Which denomination of Islam you want, and which race? I got all races of all denominations. There ain't been a debate that I've ever done that my life wasn't threatened. Even when it's just strictly amongst black people, all sorts of other races, inclusive of black people, threaten me. You better not show up. We're gonna blow that shit. You better watch your children. Need a break, man. If I would have kept doing debates, man, the whole world be against me after a while. And then what happens is, if someone hears something negative, members from each of the different communities that don't like me, they join in on it. They exaggerate. They add to it because they never got over the fact that I'm an enemy of their God. True. And you may be so sane as to say, man, come on, people don't be that zealous for just going against their religion. Yeah, people want to kill you. Facts. And on top of it, yes, I still offer the mentorship. You could go to brother, POLIGHT45@gmail.com. But listen, yo, people really will break up their family if a family member don't believe in what they believe in. And the whole while people think I'm being rude and disrespectful, but they don't really understand. I'm just applying logic a lot of times. Yeah, I do the research. Yeah, I go to the countries that's in question. But at the end of the day, it's like, yo, people are very emotional, very protective about their belief system. So yeah, I get a lot of hatred because of not only what I teach, but the way I teach in convincing fashion. And you got to consider this. Whoever is the one that's representing that doctrine, there's always somebody saying, that's not a real Muslim that you debated. That's not a real Hebrew you debated. Put another one in front of me. Both of those wasn't the real ones. Put another one in front of me. That wasn't a true Christian. You see what I'm saying, brother? So I start saying, when will God put the right one? Or when will Allah put the right one in front of me? Why he got me over here distracting people from his truth? You see, then I'm going to start going in my bag and it's going to get disrespectful to them. But to me, I'm thinking I'm asking honest questions. Like, why y'all need to hurt me in the first place? Let God do that. You think so? God is going to guard his way and he's going to abuse me all because I don't believe? Prove yourself. Until I see a baby born and grow into an adult and knows the Bible inside out, I'm never going to be a believer. Until I see a baby born and grow into adulthood and know Islam inside out, or Judaism inside out, Scientology inside out, Christianity inside out, I'll be a believer. But until then, man has to teach you that information, not God. Man who can be tricked. Man who's subject to his own opinion. Man who can't find another man with an equal opinion about anything in every capacity. So it stands to reason that we get our knowledge about God from man. And I got the right to question man. I don't even think I got a chance to question God because he hasn't presented himself. It's the man who presents God that is in question. So until then, until God steps up and says, yo, fam, I'm God. When man presents himself, I'm like, I pass. No universe exists. I'm with that. Okay? There's laws of nature that's in place. I'm with that. That's what I'm on. So simple. I don't mean to be rude and disrespectful. But you know, those communities, they do rude and disrespectful things. So then I'm like, oh, we turned up. I turn up. Then I turn up. They tell me I should have turned down. Why you shooting the Bible? Why you doing? I'm like, yo, fam. Y'all threatening me and everything. I ain't take it like that. Y'all threatening to kill my children, wish death upon my babies. So I'm like, okay, I can shoot a book here and there. Since that's what we doing. Since that's what we doing over here, then they get emotional. But, you know, I mean, it's a different thing when you go to the world's first hospital in the Temple Philae, Egypt, and you see how they gave birth squatting right to near. I mean, I seen it from my own eyes. I went to the world's first hospital, still standing to this day, attributed to Sobek because alligators' fertility. I went to the first hospital. I seen how they had sinks to clean their tools and how they had the women squatting instead of going against gravity laying down because they put it all on the walls. So what am I supposed to do when I go to Kemet and I see people with locks and waves on the wall? And I see that these people have the oldest known hospital to man. And I see today's hospital doing some completely opposite stuff. So now I got doctors against me too. Because I'm like, this gotta be on purpose. How is it you guys don't know today what they knew back then? How did you deviate and start doing the wrong thing? How do you go backwards? How do we start the women off squatting and then we wind up with them laying down? How does that happen? How come birth is so difficult? I mean, how the heck we got here all these years if birth was so difficult? But that's the issue. I took the time out to question things. And the manner in which I question things causes me harm, causes me trouble. So people say, how come so much people mad at you? How come so much people don't like you? It's religious dogma most of the time, but like I said, I add doctors to the list. I add nurses to the list. Add people in holistic health to the list. Because, you know, people looking to make money. So if you teach something and it goes against what they're selling, they mad at you. They want you out of here because I'm the one with the influence of people. You can go on different social media. I have 420,000 people following me, or I got 100,000 people on Instagram following me, or I got near 200,000 people following me on Facebook. I'm the one with the following. And what am I discussing? Almost every damn thing we can have a conversation about. Those of you that know me know I'm very diverse. What you want it in? That's my gift. Diversity. I could get into a subject and I could talk to you about law. Now I'm going to get some attorneys mad at me. And lawyers upset with me. I could talk about health. I could get the holistic experts mad at me because they selling something where I'm like, man, that don't make sense. But I'm not doing it to disrespect nobody. Oftentimes, I don't even mention people's names. I'll say the young man that I talk to. If you know, you know. If you don't, you don't. I don't need no clout from none of these people. I'm good. It's about the truth. We drop this knowledge. We come up with the concept. I ain't even interested in what y'all interested in. I'm doing my own thing. I told you I'm retired. I do these streams when I find some free time because I like to build and connect with the people. I ain't into all that. I ain't into monetizing my joint so I can make some money when I talk about you or that one or that. I'm not into none of that. That's y'all guys' reality. You guys live and die by that. Yo, hopefully I can make this controversial enough and I can put some commercials in there so I can get some coins from the white man. All I got to do is say some controversial stuff about my people. How about you say something that's just positive and you get your advertisement money from that? Why you got to degrade black people and make money from white people in the process? If you guys were real, you do videos going after black people and don't accept no money for it in the process. If y'all was real. Come on, man. I know what y'all on. I know what it is. When broke people start having those issues and they find a little bread and butter, they're like, yo, I ain't gonna front. When I do the positive videos, I don't really get that much hits. But when I do those negative videos, I get a lot of hits. This translates to money. All I gotta do is set up my YouTube AdSense account because my man is doing it too. And now you gotta become more controversial. Now you're not even a lecturer or teacher no more. You're a news reporter. Now your whole thing is, let me be the first one to talk about this story. Oh, that movie came out, let me be the first one to talk about that movie. Oh, they just shot this girl? Do you care about the girl that got shot? Are you leading in any political action? No. But let me be the first one to talk about that girl that got shot in the black community, rile people up, get them on their emotions, and if I could be the first one, I could get the most hits. So I can get some money. You worse than the regular media that we already discussed it with. I'm not with all of that. I'm not with it. I'm not a news reporter. That's not what I came into the community to do. I don't care about all of that. If I'm not coming up with a plan of action to alter our paradigm, you're not really going to hear me talking about a lot of those things. So a lot of times when things happen, you say, yo, Polite, how come you don't talk about this? How come I see you ain't addressing this issue? What is it about the issue that I'm going to address that isn't a recurring theme about the condition of our people? I'm addressing it every time I tell you something about political action. I'm addressing it every time I tell you how to fix your credit. I'm addressing it every time I tell you about stocks or bonds or cryptocurrencies. And whenever we give you social political knowledge, that's addressing it, because the more resources we have, the more control of our paradigm we will be in. That's what it is. That's how I address it. But for me to get on YouTube and say, yo, they just shot this woman, this black woman, the police just locked her up and killed her. Yo, y'all don't need me to talk about that. You're going to have a ton of Negroes who don't do nothing else talk about that. I'm with it. I don't like it. I'll say, yeah, I disagree with it. Pass. Because I don't want to be offensive to the family, knowing that the only reason that I'm posting up my take on what took place is because I'm looking to get some monetization from speaking about what happened. I don't want to do that. That's disrespectful. It's disrespectful to me. If that's my intention, like, yo, I got to keep my channel lit. I got to keep it active. I got to keep making money. So I'm constantly just looking for current events so I can regurgitate whatever I read in the newspaper, give my Black Power spill on it. And yo, I got a life, man. I got talent. I got abilities. I'm writing for movies. I'm managing artists. I got things that I'm interested in doing on planet Earth. I don't want to subject myself to something I'm not really interested in. I'm not interested in that. I'm interested in our forward momentum. I'm not interested in, let me see how much coins I can stack up by talking about our shortcomings and murders that take place in our black community. I'm not interested in that. Yeah. It's part of the poor people paradigm, perpetuating that negativity, but then what are we doing to solve it? So what I'm gonna wind up doing, I'm gonna have a bunch of videos, then me uplifting them. I don't want to be part of that ratio. I'm not into that. I'm just not. I'm not the news reporter. Let the news reporters do what they do. Let them talk about me. Let them talk about everybody else. I'm not into none of that. And you're not going to see me get into that. And that's how you're going to know that it's real. I don't deal with none of that. Somebody asks me about something, I'll talk about it here and there. That's it. You ain't going to see too much movie reviews and all of that. I'm not into none of that. That movie, though, was dope, and it is deserving of all the reviews that black people are giving it and creating energy around it. I think that's dope. I hope a lot of those monies really goes into black pockets, because black people did a great job. It was a black director. He broke records as a black director, and he broke records. Just in general, they broke records. It's the greatest movie release on a Wednesday or in the month of February. Second highest grossing ever. First 4-day weekend. Second of all time in all movie history. They did a lot, man, and that's noteworthy. That's great, you know. Do we control the industry? No, we don't. Are there going to be a bunch of other films with all black cast? Maybe sooner than later, thanks to this one. But, you know, it's motivation nonetheless. I don't always want to talk about all the negative things and possibilities. Let's see what we can graft out of this positive experience instead of, you know, well, it ain't our film, or it ain't our industry, or, you know, white man still gonna make all the money. Then come on, man. Sometimes let that go and just enjoy the moment. That's why people be mad. So when I talk about, what's that thing called? Black Friday. And I said, man, black people should go out there and buy as much as they can buy. That makes sense if they're gonna buy it throughout the year. Oh my gosh. He's talking about, no, if black people don't produce it, you don't know where to get it from. And you're one of the people that's saying, man, I ain't got that much money to be spending. Then how about you spend enough money for Black Friday so you don't have to spend money throughout the year where it would cost more than what you would have been spending on that one day or those 2 days. That's all I'm saying. Like, you know, and the crazy part is conscious people don't understand what I'm saying, but regular people do. So I'm like, who's really conscious? If you don't got much money, you feel me? If you don't got much money and you're going to buy these things anyway, intently throughout the year, that's your intention, then buy them the day of the year where it's so cheap. You won't have to spend your money throughout the year on that, and you can save and have more money to invest with other black businesses or invest in general to get returns. It's just simple. But you know what? Some black people think like this, but they're afraid to say it because they don't want to be called a coon and all these other weird words that they come up with, man. I'm not with it. I don't deal with all that dogma and all that stuff they talk about Egypt and all. I'm not with all of that. A lot of that stuff they be talking about is make-believe. Read those books for myself. Delve into the knowledge. That's the reason why I make subscriptions to it. Okay? But all the fairy tale stuff, the Arset and the Horus, Immaculate Conception and all that, I don't even be seeing that stuff in the book, so I'm not into that part. To all of the allegory and all that stuff, I'm not into that. I'm into the scientific aspects of what they was talking about. They knew where these constellations was. They told about when you leave, where they travel, the Pet and Haru, the pockets of Shipamawut, the ritual procession into the awakening. Come on, man, like, the conscious community doesn't even exist until you leave this world, according to that doctrine. You're not even woke until you leave this world, according to that doctrine. It all lines up. It all makes sense. That's what I'm into. That's what I'm into. I don't got time for all the other stuff. These are facts. These are all facts. That's why the Black Panther movie is very dope. It's one of my all-time favorites, I have to say. I plan to watch it again. I was so proud to be able to watch that movie with my daughter so she can have images of great black people in her mind, or if she wants to tap into her imaginations, she had a reference point for black people. And she really enjoyed the movie. I was like, yes. Because Superman's cool. I think I like Batman more only because he be dressing in all black, as close to black as I can get. That's probably why I like Batman so much. You know, because he covers up his white face. He's mostly black. I think that's pretty cool. And he's human. I like when the heroes don't have to go so far from being human. And that's why I like the Black Panther. Because, I mean, what actually is his superpower? In my opinion, his superpower is his culture. He comes from a dynamic culture. He comes from a super culture. So his moral compass is greater than that of his enemies, oppressors, detractors, and the ignorant, just in general. To me, the Black Panther superpower is the culture from which he derives. He's connected with his ancestors. That's his power. If he wants to talk to his ancestors, he has the resources to access the ancestors. So Superman has his kryptonite. He gets around that and he gets hurt. The Black Panther has his herbs where he can connect with his ancestors, confide in them, and he can get inspiration and motivation and direction from them to lead him into the physical world. And he can make strong strides in the physical world knowing that there's an abode of the ancestors awaiting him, so he knows the shame that will come with doing wrong as well, which is that moral compass. So he has something that I never seen the other superheroes have: the connection with the ancestors, the ability to access them and confide in those that are alive and those that have passed along. That's his strength, because with that he has integrity as a superhero strength. He has culture as a superhero strength. This is what I'm telling my daughter. That's his superpowers. That's dope, because that means we could obtain those kind of powers in real life. That's why I like him. They didn't come up with something so crazy that I'm like, yo, man, how we gonna deal with that? We could lead the world in technology. We led the world in technology before, so that's cool. But him as a person, what brought him back to life was his ability to connect with the ancestors and let them know that, you know what, my job ain't done. But he had to talk to them first before he came back here. He had to reconcile that which transpired before he was born, during the time he was alive, with those who had passed along. He had to do that before he could come back here, before he could rectify within himself, I got more work to do. It's not time for me to leave. See, Superman couldn't do that. They had to electrocute his ass and for him to come back. You see what I'm saying? They had to electrocute him. They had to find so much electricity to bring him back. They couldn't bring culture to revive him. So you see, with the Black Panther, we know the right amount of culture could resurrect us. The right amount of culture could revive us. I think that's powerful, man. I think that's powerful. And there are the herbs that give us the ability to access the ancestors. So this is all coming from a realm of facts. That's why I deal with that movie. I'm like, yo, baby, these is facts. These are facts. We could take the Emberka and connect with our ancestors. These is facts. Those are all facts. These herbs exist. The ritual of burying you underground after taking a herb, those are facts that exist. I'm like, yo, they not lying. Like that's true. So I'm like, if this is what is, if a bunch of truth is going to be disseminated in this movie, this is my number one superhero. And I'm not being biased, because I love the Marvel comics and everything, and some of the DC comics. I ain't too big on DC. You know, I deal with Batman though, but I ain't too big on DC comics. I always like Marvel. I like Wolverine. I love his power, you know, his ability to regenerate, rejuvenate, and how they create vaccines out of his ability to rejuvenate, because that reminds me of Henrietta Lacks. See, the real superheroes exist. If you look at Wolverine's superhuman powers, you could easily make a correspondence with him and Henrietta Lacks, because they cured a lot of diseases using her cells. So that concept of Wolverine is old if you look at Henrietta. But that's another conversation in itself. But I like when the superhero's concept isn't too far-fetched, because the closer the superhero is to my abilities, the more I can envision myself in that space and operate in that capacity in the real world. That's what I'm on. I love that.